this comp on Ascent, I believe,
Yeah.
was just so dominating to the point that Aresta was just like double thinking, like, should we hesitate taking the site at all? How are we gonna retake the site when they're just this aggressive?
Yeah, when it comes to the experience of both of the teams, we're seeing at least Bren here with Zinni and as well as Mikasi really coming in. As we take a look at the roster, both Mikasi and Zinni have been very experienced here in the Philippine scene. They're both IGLs for their previous teams, and now that they're together, we're seeing two brains come together. And if
Ooh.
we're paired with Alexi and Twirly's aggression, this is going to be quite dangerous for the team of SMG. I gotta say, Shirazi as well, as that main controller for the team, she knows really how to hold down the site and really protect the site from any other imposter that may come their way.
Yeah, that's really interesting. As I wanted to say something about Shirazi. I noticed that Shirazi, it's kind of like a Casper when you think about it from Orangutan. You can see her on the lurk, you can see her coming on the backside, and you can also she's the type of player where you don't really notice those really, really big plays, but she's gonna get those important frags out. So let's have a look at SMG. So SMG yesterday, this is the same one, Kohaibi, Envious, Keferdite, Yoki, and Fixki. And I really like how Keferdite can come up from the team and make sure that she can manage to get clutches, because she got, I think, a 3 to 5 yesterday, and still, even to this point, she's still clutch for Dairi. So in terms of Envious and Kohaibi, I feel like Kohaibi, she's very flexible. She can play a lot of different agents, but Envious is what we should be looking at, because Envious, she can move on from different roles, different agents, and her aggression as soon as she comes online is absolutely scary.
Definitely. And when it comes to the flexibility of both of the teams, we're seeing sometimes Envious as the Jet, and yesterday she played the Omen for the team. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a mix up. I think they're going growing more comfortable with each other, and that's why in the first map we're seeing Agent Select here for map number 1. We're expecting at least the map selection to go in the way. Bren actually bans Haven first because Team SMG, they're very comfortable when it comes to the pushes, because usually Team SMG, they use either a double initiator or a double duelist setup. But Ascent
Yeah.
is the first map that we're seeing today, Tash.
Yeah, that's right. And for yesterday, seeing Ascent played by Bren, they are very, very comfortable on that map. They can literally walk onto a site, take so much space, forcing the enemies backward. So we need to see more, not aggression per se, but a more comfortable, a more confident play coming to SMG. Now I'm a little bit worried about SMG because they went all the way to game 5 yesterday. Sorry, game 3 yesterday. On top of that, the overtime. So it felt like they were maybe a little bit shaken or a little bit shook by that outcome. Either way, because of that, there's a lot that they can learn on how to play. So I think coupled with that, as well as their hunger to come up on top as well, it's gonna be a really, really good match. And I have a feeling we'll be going all the way to map 3.
Definitely, I would really say that Team SMG, they're battle hungry. Every time they get into the arena and they get into a map, they make sure that they pour out their hearts and their best effort into each game that they play. But for Bren Victress, we're seeing them as a team with the most improvement out of all of the teams. From them being the team of Arise, now they're taken into this organization with a lot of resources. Now they're powered up. Basically,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be Mario, it's gonna be a one up basically for them, and it seems that they're unstoppable because in Open 2 they're the ones who got against AE Celeste in the finals.
Yeah, and on top of that, let's talk about their percentages right now. For Ascent, Bren Victress looks so good. 82% for them in terms of win rates compared to SMG, who looks a little bit more down at 67%. Either way, it's still very 50-50. So what's really important about Ascent, it is mid control. So from what I saw yesterday, Bren Victress, they're a lot more, not only just aggressive, but they are very, very strong on the pushes, on the holes. When they manage to get an area, they really know how to guard it, and they know how to take space and just run a whole mile with it. As opposed to SMG yesterday, they like to play really, really fast. They like to play really, really aggressive. But at times, SMG was actually punished quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Ascent plays of team of Bren yesterday. We're seeing Twirly as that Reina, and when it comes to Twirly on that Reina, she seems very unstoppable, and she's very quick to think when it comes to her utility. She knows when and where to dismiss and where to actually revive herself and recover during these duels. And when it comes down to not having a jet in Ascent, they made it work. When it comes
They
to
really did.
Mikasi as that raise, so when it comes to the mid control, it probably is the use of the utilities, just one smoke out, and then using Twirly Slayer to really take control of mid with the aggression of Mikasi as well. She is proven to be very victorious as the raise. She's a raise main. She has
She's so
also,
good.
yeah, she's also taken other roles as well. She was an initiator before for another team, but she still embodied that role of a leader. And if you have a leader like that in the team, and the rest of the members follow it, it's gonna look like they're very solid.
Yeah, and on top of that, I really like how Mikasi plays Raze in general. So I think it's because of her initiator role, she's able to play this way. So what she does is she would walk with her boombot into smokes when she knows that it's clear. And then she plays a corner and she gets maybe one or two frags and then backs out. And I think it's a very genius way of playing it. Like, who would have thought walking with your boombot is a great idea? Because usually people give you space. They don't want to get caught out by the boombot. But heck, you walk in with your boombot, no one expects that.
It's like having your own trailblazer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but you can control where the boombot is going, and if you go with it, it's gonna be a double attack. Who do you shoot first? The boombot who can explode on you, or the person who can actually pop off your head in just a matter of seconds?
Yeah, I think that's the bait and switch tactic. Like sometimes you throw a recon bolt dart and then you get distracted and you get killed from the side. I think it's a very similar concept. Like right nowadays, for those who don't know about Fate, you can actually walk with her. I don't know, is that a cat or a dog? with her
That
with her pet.
creature.
With a creature, yeah, you can actually walk with it, and because of the cover it provides, you can actually get those headshots. And I'm really liking that. It's kind of like having your dog for Skies. Actually, I heard that Skies Trailblazer is actually a cat.
Yeah, it's actually a wolf.
Oh, it's a wolf. Okay, never mind. Technically a dog. Either way, let's stop talking about what animal is what, and let's go into Agent Select. And this is gonna be really exciting. I want to really know what exactly they're gonna be locking in. So Kohaibi gonna be running the Rays. We saw her play that yesterday, and she managed to get so much value from the Rays. She knows how to get picks. But Yoki today on the KO, I think I'm really liking this KO picks because you also are doubling it with the Sova. That's so much information gained, and on top of that as well is suppression is just oppressive.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that at least for the first match that we saw as Kachao. But Yoki, this is going to be a different story because together
Is
with their
that
team
Yoro?
members, usually you would see
Oh.
coupled. Yuki coupled with either Envious or Kohaibi during pushes. So that would be good during these retakes. But we saw a little bit of a tease earlier. Yoru was supposedly
Select your
picked,
agent.
but
I was
no,
so
they want to
sad.
play it safe. They want to play it safe with this pick now for Brenvi.
Yeah, I think Mikasi is very, very comfortable on Raze, and I think it's better to play on a comfort agent than anything. But yesterday, Shirazi, she was playing with a Brimstone, and her Brimstone was absolutely devastating. Not only did she provide all that support and cover for her team, she's also very, very aggressive. So I like the way that she plays it in a way. I mean, usually for a Brimstone, you don't really see it too aggressive of a Brimstone. It's somewhere in between playing under smokes or playing in the back of sight just to clear out areas. And Brimstone, one thing because of how valuable the ultimate can be in clearing areas, taking up space, as well as playing for defuse or protecting from defuses, like it or not, you have to stay alive. And Shirazi did just that, but she still manages to frag out.
Definitely. And when it comes to her brimstone, it doesn't seem that she's very conservative because she has to save for the smokes. Every time you would peek Shirazi, then you're down. And this is a threat to the team of SMG. While the team and the roster, together with Kohaibi, Envious, they're very good at these headshot percentages. When it comes to Brent's use of the utilities, especially during the attack, they must look out for Shirazi.
Yeah, on top of that, really like the lineups as well. The KJ picks, I'm really excited about this because yesterday when we saw KJ picks, I thought it would be used more on the B side, especially on lane. I think that's one of the most used. But either way, they know how to really play in different areas. We saw lineups all the way on tree, which I think is really good. It gives them that kind of like stops the crazy rampage coming in from mid side as well as garden, and it's honestly just so amazing how they're able to really utilize so many different areas and keep the enemies guessing, because the most times it's hard for anyone to really hit B because it's just on lane, but A is definitely still possible to do. And on top of that, with mid control, catwalk control, tree control, you have so much cover onto A side. But by changing it up like that, you're not really sure where KJ is going to be, and you're gonna have to rethink. Do I want to rotate here? Do I want to play default? Do I have to bait out those nano swarms to give me that space?
Yeah, and that's definitely the reason why Yoki is on the KO. They want to make sure that they figure out where that KJ is going to be. And even Alexi for Bren Victress, she always just used to be the jet in terms of really entering towards the site. She's very powerful when it comes to these opening picks. But her embracing the jet now being not necessarily nerfed, I think that still equalizes the situation. But them accepting this patch and using the KO instead is really good to see here, at least for the teams, given all of the taint and the flexibility of the jet. Then just use the KO instead, and that's gonna be used to shut down the KJ utilities when they come in towards the site.
Yep, that's right. But let's have a look at the game right now. This is game one between SMG and Bren Victress. The winner goes to the next round, and the loser goes down to the lower brackets. And the lower brackets is a long, arduous journey that I think a lot of players do not want to go through. Either way, we'll be seeing the teams here. And I think what's really interesting now, the setups for Killjoy gonna go on A, but for Killjoy, the other Killjoy, we're making sure that on the backside, it's not going to be happening.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to the defense here, Kifrodite is really pushed back. I think they want to give the site away, but it's mid that the team of Bren want to control. They have the easy site, but the door is closed. And Gohaibi's just waiting here together with the Boombot. She tries to figure out, did somebody push through mid? But nobody got detected. It's just really the shots that they know, and Fixkey takes down Twirly in the process.
Yeah, we saw Twirly last night playing on Arena, but today she's playing on Killjoy. I was really hoping to see more of that because she is so great at taking up space. But either way, I think they have their plans on how they want to do this. But this slow sort of play on a gun round is very surprising to me.
Yeah,
Let's
and
see.
they went all the way from CT
Yeah!
to get A control. And that's just bamboozling for SMG. They didn't know where else to look at. And now easily they take A.
Yep, it's a free sort of a site for them, and on top of that, this is the same thing they went through against Orangutan yesterday. It really kept them on their toes because sometimes there's so much noise on B, their rotations happen, and suddenly they just change into a different site. Alexi is so low right now. It's a 3-on-4, but that smoke, ooh, Gohaibi straight to the head, finds Shirazi, but Zini gonna be trading that out. Envious finds Mikasi, but plainly, Envious gonna find Alexi as well. One-on-one battle of the Sovas is the question. Who shoots first? They see Zini left, right with the jiggles, but she's kind of too far away. She only has a frenzy, and Zini gonna get a 4K in her pocket for just round number one.
Great discipline there for Zinni to just really peek out. She knows, okay, probably Fixkey will just get this to half and then prioritize trying to kill me and getting me out of the way for them to defuse. And that was just wonderful for Zinni. She did get a little bit of damage, but the damage is done because they got the win here in the first pistol for this round. And looking a bit shaky for SMG because they didn't really cover their tracks. I mean, Bren V, they just came from mid all the way down to CT and then went to A. And this is something that SMG, they should be careful about.
Yep, that's right. Mid control is what they want to go for, but look how fast they're just moving on to there. That smoke will only slow them for only so long. Zini trying to go on for the recon here. does spot out one person, which is their Omen Gohaibi. Gonna be cut out by Alexi as they walk out with the shock dart as well. Gonna find two as well, and this does trade out with Mikasi with the frenzy.
One enemy remaining.
Zini as well as Lexi. Gonna take out two more. A person left. It is Kfredite. She does have high clutch, but what can she do against a 1 versus 4? She does find Twirly. This is gonna be quite an expensive round at least.
Yep, and Kfredite, she wants to get another one. She takes the Bulldog away, and this might be a high value save for her. If not, she wants to rotate towards B, but the door is actually closed. She wants to open the door, and she rotates towards CT instead. Probably get 1 or 2 heads out of the way before it falls down. She gets one actually, and that's very expensive for Bren Victress, as 2 remain at Zinni and Alexi.
Yup. While you do lose, you still make it really, really expensive. You got 2 out of the way as well. And this is gonna be a buy round for SMG. For now, Bren Victress gonna have to be happy with only a Bulldog, only a Spectre, and Mikasi gonna be going through with some Sheriffs as well as a Ghost. Right now, Ghost is actually looking good. I remember the days where everyone swapped out to a Frenzy, but for some reason, Ghost is a little bit stronger now. Not sure if it's a change to anything, but it just feels really good.
Yeah, when it comes to the aim a double headshot to a person with armor, that's really proven to be very, very effective in terms of getting the kills. In terms of precision, at least the first shot, even when you're peeking out, I think that's one of the reasons why they select the Ghost instead. And when it comes to the control, Gohaibi gets Twirly. A main is fought for, and Gohaibi wins that one. So there's still 3 remaining for the team of Bren V. It makes it a 3v3.
Yep, Gohaibi is so low as well. 20 HP left. Mikasi finds Kfredite, and that's the Killjoy out of the way. The spike is on the other side, but now Gohaibi all alone. Look at how SMG is playing together. If Gohaibi manages to get some picks, great. But this gun that she has, she wants to bring it to the next round. Either way, she's on top. Does find one. No, not quite, because Alexi was a little bit faster with the reaction time.
Yep, the spike may have been compromised, but too much map control was taken away by Bren Victress, even with that buy. As you saw earlier, one was with a Bulldog, another one with a Ghost, but that didn't matter for the team of Bren. They're proving why the reason for Victress as the tail end of their name was because you don't really expect them to win those types of rounds. SMG had a full buy. They even had an Odin, but the Odin was now picked up by Zinni. It's even much more of a threat in the hands of Zinni, the clutch master for the team.
Yep, that's right. But here's Shirazi. She wants to smoke out some areas here, giving the team some space, as well as that the null command comes out. They have to give them space because they have nothing to work with other than guns. And look at that. Look how Shirazi is so fast in clearing out these angles and the space. And SMG can only wait outside. And here's where the hesitation comes in. And that's the problem with the null command. You get so unsure how you want to play this. How are we going to go? Are we going to push forward? For now, Mikasi does get tagged a little bit. But Mikasi 14 HP left. But Shirazi is there. Finds Yoki. Finds Gohaibi. And Envy is going to be trading it out. That's 2! Beautifully played. Gets 1 gun. But it's going to be tagged out. They know where she is.
They're very crispy with these, and Envious picks up a gun for her own. And Fixie gets 1 in the process. And that was a low buy for SMG, but they made it happen. Envious, the impact killer for the team. SMG gets 2. And that was just wonderful for them. Bren may have stolen that last round, but this is much more of a bigger steal for Team SMG.
Absolutely, and on top of that, we saw yesterday how Envious played on an Omen, and she's absolutely scary. You were not gonna expect her to come in from the other side. You weren't expecting her to come in from tree at all, and because she knows how to catch the enemies off guard, you are gonna have to always be on your toes because she is definitely the reason for a lot of the situations where you think it's not gonna work out, but then suddenly it just does. She got 3 in her pocket just now. For now, Yoki, she finds 2 suppressed, narrowly misses that shock dart, and the information will be shared, but suddenly the noise is cut out. They're not too sure what's going to be happening, and SMG knows that if the noise is cut out, that's just playing default. They're trying to get in some information. They don't want to push in too aggressively just now.
There's going to be a 0 point thrown in a fragment. pushing
Oh,
Alexei's
Alexei!
health down to 15. There's no heal available for you. You're a robot. You can't really do that. But Alexei doesn't back down. She's
Oh my
angry and
God.
she gets the kill against Yoki. You might have hurt me with that fragment, but I will get the kill. Envious is down to 8 HP as well. And with that lockdown in place, this is gonna be easy A site control for Bren Victress.
Yep, that's right. The lineups are absolutely perfect as well. That means you don't put a Killjoy at risk, and she's able to do Killjoy things without dying a little bit too early. Fixkey, she does have the Odin. Gonna go on the aggressive here, but the thing is, this is what we saw yesterday as well from Orangutan. With you don't have to peek because he just quietly playing in hell, as silent as a mouse. And right now they're trying to get some information. At least it's so hard because look at where they're positioned. They're making sure to stay unaware where they are. Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage, and Mikasi is still waiting for one to drop down, but one by one, the team of SMG are falling down to the hands of people who are in a main, and Mikasi to finish things off with
Yeah,
that double kill was just so beautiful.
Oh, you know what else is beautiful? That 15 HP kill. She's not even scared. Either way, it looked like SMG, they were in trouble just now because Mikasi, while there were those that Odin shots, she didn't even move. One thing that's really great about Bren, Victress, is the fact that they are very, very disciplined. They don't make a single sound. They hold angles. They don't play on the aggressive unless they have to. Like just now, Recon was out. No one gets tagged. But on the other hand, they immediately get caught out. And I think because they're not able to really get so much control of site and areas compared to Bren Victress, that's kind of their downfall there.
Yep. And in terms of the downfall here, it might be Kohai's, because there's one on top. Alexei brings down one, but shuts down a little bit, at least deafens Kohaibi in the process. She can't use any of her abilities, so she can't really chase them down, so she just backs away. I love the smarts here of the team of Bren. They know when to push forward and they know when to pull back. And that's going to be a challenge here because they're closing in. And the A side, there's going to be a showstopper here. But doesn't really connect because the kills are in favor of Bren Victress before they can even hold down the site. That's a beautiful pincher move and a beautiful attack by Bren.
Yeah, that's that again. Just want to highlight that map control here. They took mid as well as A main, giving them so much control. Kohaibi suddenly just spins in the middle. Yeah, you have an ultimate, you get one kill. But the thing is, from the side, there's so many different angles that they covered. It's hard for people to actually rotate as fast when you are in this position where you can't even rotate. We're catching you during the rotations as well. This dominant playstyle, not only just dominant, but very, very fast, is choking SMG right now.
Yeah, and when it comes down to these decisions, it's really either so slow, super fast for Bren, and I think SMG cannot really contain this. It's gonna be a fast push, and it's gonna be Mikasi brought down by Kiperdite. He was tucked in that corner. Alexei strikes back though, getting the two that they need when it comes to this B site control.
Yep, that's right. Twirly. Gonna make sure that no one's flanking the back, and I think they're very, very aware when you think about how Envious will play. They learned once, and they're not gonna do it again. Here comes the paranoia immediately. Gonna reposition. Envious already on the site. They hear the footsteps. They are gonna be clearing out the area. She doesn't spot anyone just yet. Immediately finds Shirazi's hit. Finds two! Not before they said that's enough from Zinni. Envious goes down. It's still a 2-on-1 right now. Kohaibi all alone gets suppressed. 47 HP. They know where she is. She got spotted out. 7 bullets on the barrel. Not enough. Has to reload. Twirly finishes off with a classic.
A good thing there was also the turret there. As she was reloading, the turret was very comfortable reloading in the middle because, okay, I have my bot with me, but good thing she just switches up to that classic instead to secure the kill, and that was just good defense when it comes to the spike protection from Bren Victress, and now it forces SMG to call for a timeout. Where are we going wrong? When it comes to the defense, it's as if all of the angles are protected and watch out for, but Bren Victress, they always find a hole that they can get into when it comes to these side pushes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when it comes to pushes, they're just so good at map control. They're just so good at making sure that no hole is left, unchecked or unturned. And on top of that, if say that Envious does break through the flanks, she's gonna get at least two or three different picks. You notice that, but they are still able to shut her down. Envious right now with a 9-7, which is honestly very very big plays. But regardless, if you are getting two or three kills and you're not getting making it to the end, or your whole team does not survive, it's really hard to actually do anything.
That's true. And when it comes to Alexi's trade-offs, we can see here, at least for that last round, there were two people for Team SMG's defense in the side of B. That was Kfredite and Fixkey. But once the two members of the team of Bren V fell down, Alexi is gonna be there to save the day. And even Twirly here, she knows that somebody might push up here. Kohaibi loves this, and that's why Turley is also ready, using this one-way smoke to her advantage.
Yep, that's right. Bot coming out immediately. She's gonna find out. Gets one, not quite. She does get tagged and also suppressed as well. Gonna have to run for her life. But Lexi gonna come through, not able to land the headshot. The fragment gonna clear her out of the corners. But there's two already on the side. Did not realize that Lexi was there. Lexi with the double. And they're so comfortable, regardless 66 HP. But look at this. Twirly all alone on grass. She does get caught out, but there is the crossfire. Gets one over on Sabrosa. Is still one person gonna clear out. Fragment as well as grenade exchange. But Yoki gonna come out on top and get a nice sweet upgrade.
Yeah, but they're so far away from the site, and there's a crossfire here between Zinni. And so Yoki's down, but Envious is gonna be there for the trade with Zinni as well. As I mentioned before, the trades are so quick for Bren V. SMG don't really have time to react.
Yeah, that's right. We also see a buddy system going on here. You saw that someone got caught mid, or at least at grass, and then suddenly you saw someone else already on catwalk for the trade. You see them coming, pushing in through mid. You're not gonna check someone on pizza when someone's inside of market. You're so distracted.
Yeah, and when you think that the coast is clear, nope, Zinni is gonna be there. And Twirly, I love how she's doing these lurks and finding control or map space for them, because she knows when to take these duels. When she looked at 3, she immediately, oh, nope, that's not gonna be my fight. I'm gonna be here and survive for the rest of my teammates. And that's what I love about the discipline of Bren Victress.
Yep. They are just so dominating when it comes to map control. Look at how far stretched out they are, but they're so confident in their skill and gunplay that they're not afraid to just kind of like move it alone. And it's so rare for me to see a Killjoy actually play alone or on lurk, and that's how comfortable she is as well. Either way though, they're just playing default. They can either go A if they can also get control of spawn as well for the enemy team, or they can hit B if they get market control. Kohaibi, she is very aware that for mid side they want to hit there. That it hasn't changed right now. But with Alexi from there, immediately cutting the noise, and Twirly gets a double there, and Envious gonna equalize it, at least getting Alexi out of the way. Kohaibi finds Shirazi, and suddenly it's only Envious and Kohaibi left. Kohaibi clears that out, gonna find one more, not quite, because Twirly has 3 in her pocket. She does have a spike. It is a one-on-one. It is Envious after all going after her, and Envious on an Omen is very scary.
Yep, and even Twirly as just really an aimer is very scary, and she still has the lockdown, so she can buy time. But Paranoia is set to try and displace Twirly, but she's not backing down. She refuses to use the turret, but she still gets a headshot. She sees what only she can see, and she gets the 4K. A beautiful clutch there by Twirly.
Oh, that was so beautifully played. Alexi coming in, this is their favorite way of taking a side. Come in through market, come in through B main. But this time round, SMG was ready. What they weren't ready for was Twirly. Twirly playing the aggressive KJ peak after peak. And if you noticed, I noticed that kind of peak shots coming through, not only from Twirly, but also from Zinni. This is a Bren V signature move, I suppose, where you just kind of buy time and you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, definitely. I really love that, because Envious didn't really see Twirly in that situation. It was just really Twirly's peaking and raw skill when it comes to the mechanics. And as the a Reyna main, you would really expect that from her. But at this point, she's all
Ooh.
alone. That's why Mikaze is taken down by Yoki. Turley just really wants to exit. Yoki's mad about that recent loss. That's why she's moving forward and pushing forward. Zinni's also suppressed at the moment.
Yeah, that's two already out of the way, a little bit too aggressive, and they got super punished for it. Yoki is feeling good right now after those two picks, and on top of that, those are sheriff kills, and which really, really, I mean, getting a sheriff tap to the head and outgunning someone that has a rifle is one of the best feelings on Valorant. Either way, Kohaibi gonna be playing the pincer here, going in just to kind of put them in a situation where they can't even get out of that corner on A main. Either way, Zinni. She's a little bit in the back here. Quiet, she doesn't know he's there. Gonna get one. The timing finds one, finds two. Alexi does find Aphrodite though, thankfully. But Alexi is already on site here, just waiting right now. It's a lurk on lurk situation.
Yeah, but they did not really expect a three-man flank. And the team of SMG, they were on a low buy. And the first round on the board that they got was a thrifty. And this is a probable thrifty for them yet again. But Alexi just wants to push through. She thinks that there is time to win, but SMG takes it away from Alexi, and that's why the second round on the board for SMG is posted on the scoreboard. SMG, if they continue to push like this to catch Bren Victress off guard, then this is a possibility for an 8-4. But Bren Victress, they already have the momentum. It's so fiery for them, even when it comes to the aim, the use of the utilities. Their reaction towards the defense is also very good.
Yeah, both teams, I believe, are teams that rely on momentum. And we saw yesterday at SMG, they really, really need the momentum to push themselves forward. Meanwhile, Bren Victress, I mean, yeah, SMG does get those crucial rounds, but Bren Victress knows how to bring it back, knows how to suddenly just cut noise, knows how to suddenly just change the whole pace in general. They're still playing the same way, but how they approach it is totally different. Pixki gonna get one tag there onto Mikasi, but does it really matter when there's no follow-up?
Yep, a tag, but at least the rest of the members of Bren Victress, they can rotate towards mid, but it was smoked out, so it means that they're going here through Cat. There's still a possibility for Yoki to shut down with the 0 point, which will refresh any second now, but the fragment is gonna be the utility to use to try and stop this push. She smoked out, however, she can do a flashy play, but uses the null command instead.
Yeah, I think that really buys them time, but the problem with Bren Victress is they're not scared of not having abilities because of how much control they have on this area. Aphrodite finds one, finds two, that's why she's called Clutch Aphrodite, but not right now because Mikasi gets two in return, but Kwaibi gonna stop that rampage. Still 3-on-2, 3-on-1 actually. Alexi all alone once again, all by myself. She's singing that out, but not quite enough to clutch it, I believe, but she still wants to make it expensive at least.
I loved how you sang your heart out, and it's probably also how Alexi is feeling right now. Her heart is beating off of her chest. She wants to win this, but Kohaibi says, and there's no room for you to win this. I will secure the kill, and that was just so good for Aphrodite. A turtle in the middle of the site, not moving at all, not being spotted by anybody else, and she strikes at the perfect moment.
Yeah, that was a very fatal mistake. Yes, you got sight, but you gotta clear it. Everyone was just too eager beaver to take up aiming to watch the other side of Jenny. But what about the other side of the site?
Yeah, definitely. They all covered each of the spaces, but not the double box. Aphrodite was just crouching, making sure that nobody spotted her. But this time, this might be a lesson learned for the team of Bren Victress as they go towards the A site once again, but this time with the lockdown into play. And with the smokes into play, this is going to be quite scary. They need to slow this down. The lockdown is also there for the defending Killjoy. Mikasi, however, gets one. And with one player detained for SMG, this is going to slow down the retake.
Yeah, Aphrodite, careful not to make any noise. They do know that she's there. But for now, those Nanoswarm bots are gonna buy some time, at least for a little while. But look at the pincer coming in from SMG here. They're coming in from two different angles. But the problem now is they don't know where she is because he finds Yoki grenade Doesn't really matter. Aphrodite takes some damage here. Shirazi out of the way. Aphrodite not able to just hold on, but envious. Once again, she knows how to just come out on top quietly, but successfully.
Yeah, definitely. When you mentioned the pincer attack, the team of Bren Victress, they did not really
Switching sides.
expect this, because when they destroyed the lockdown, they had this sense of comfort that nobody would be going through that because we've already taken this space away. But that was just really a time for the team of SMG to pounce in with this attack. And as I mentioned, if and when the momentum is in favor of SMG, an 8-4 could happen, and that's the case. But now that the team of SMG are on the attack, though, we know how aggressive Envious and Kohibi is. Well, the question really is will Bren Victress find out a way to shut them down?
Yeah, that's honestly the question for now is because when you think about it, how Bren Vixes played today and yesterday was just very, very similar. Yes, against a team like Aresta, yes, that can very much work. But this time around, they're more default than anything. They're just trying to get some information before they finally hit a site. But it's rare to see them actually coming in from main. If anything, main is the little room that they make a lot of noise before they decide they want to go through mid, take that mid control, and then take a site. Now, for defensive side, it's going to be very different because just now what Envious did was just give Team Bren V a taste of their own medicine. You aren't expecting the pincer because they've never done it in the previous rounds, and then suddenly the last round they finally did it, and it was a very hard pill for them to swallow. I would have expected for it would be like a very heavy side, at least for SMG, to not really do so well on defense but kind of shine in attack. But either way, scores are still very equalized for both teams, which just really show the prowess for both teams on Ascent, either play attack or defense.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we saw at least for Bren Victress's win yesterday that Ascent is really their map, and with their win rate 88.2%. As you mentioned, that's pretty high.
It is really
right?
high.
So at least for the map of Ascent, it's now a call for motivation for the team of SMG. We already won 2 straight rounds against them. Let's continue this going into the attack, because as you mentioned, when it comes to map control of mid, I feel like the agent composition of SMG, it's very, very powerful when it comes down to the utility. But I would have to say that Alexi on the KO is a game changer for the team. They would usually run double duelists for this map, but having that extra initiator to give them the information, to even give that suppression using the 0 point, is very helpful during the defense.
Yeah, that's right. And on top of that, I mean, we've seen how SMG plays. They can go really fast if they want to. But yesterday was one of those times where I saw them kind of change it up a little bit and play a little bit more different. So I would not expect any different. But in terms of getting control, I still can't imagine that we can see Team Bren V play it the same way as they play on attack. They would still be stretched out real thin, making sure that no one will be lurking in the backside. But the problem now is Envious, because she has so much mobility, so much freedom to move around. It doesn't matter if you have control of the area or not. She'll still come for you from the backside. So this is something that they really, really got to take note, because there's so many times that Envious can just turn the tides with maybe 1 or 2 frags.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the flanks, the team of SMG, they noticed this trend from the team of Bren. Whenever there would be flanks, at least early on during the pistol round, there was a push through mid and then CT, and then they got A site control. That was the same case wherein Alexi was left all alone because she already had CT control, but the rest of the members of SMG, they've already taken the CT side of the attacking team as well. So that's going to be a case, as you mentioned, both of the teams really making them swallow their own medicine, basically. But at this point, who's going to be more effective? Which strategy is going to be more potent, basically? Especially that Bren is on the defense, and given that Twirly knows how to really hold her angles, and coupled with Alexi and Mikasi's aggression, it's going to be quite scary for the team SMG.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, I'm just really excited to see how they want to play it, because it is still a double duelist comp. We talked about the power spike coming in for attack for double duelist comp, and how it's a little bit harder on defense because you don't really have enough of those utilities to kind of slow down the pushes or play for retakes. You have only pure gunfire. So if they're able to play aggressively or at least get those important picks even before they got onto spike, great, amazing. Play the way you would play on attack. But if they're not, the retakes or even getting back onto the site after that is going to be a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, definitely. But I do have to admire Team SNG's effort, especially when it comes to Envious. I recall this very impactful round from Envious, which really cost them to win that first round after they lost the bonus round of
Yeah.
Bren Victress, wherein Envious was able to get 2 kills or headshots with a sheriff, and then the rest of the members following up and taking her lead. And I would usually notice that when it comes to Envious being the jet. But even with the role swap, we could see that Envious is leading the charge in terms of the aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
personally for me.
When I see
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
when I see Yoki as well with the sheriff, it's as if it seems that they're really prepared during the thrifty rounds.
Yeah, I actually have to really agree with you on that because I feel like SMG really shines on thrifty rounds. And because of how aggressive they are, how they catch people off guard, it just gives them so much value. You get free upgrades and you're also getting money to rebuy for your teammates as well, which is honestly big, big value for the team. So personally, when you mentioned Envious makes so much space on a jet with a jet, I have to agree, she's really good. But I feel like she really truly shines on an Omen because she's so good at playing flanks. She's so good at catching people off guard. And this is the beauty of kind of mailing a duelist and then switching over to other roles because you give that extra added value that you don't really see on people who usually just play other roles like Sentinel or even Controller. Not the aggression is just not really there. And I like this flexibility coming in from both teams. Personally, I would really like to see more. I wouldn't say that SMG is not proactive. They really, really are. But playing together, I think, is the best course of action for them instead of getting isolated and getting caught out. Either way, the utility usage for both teams are just so good, as well as the aggression as well. Alexi is just not scared to just go aggressive, and so is SMG.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both of these teams, I would really have to say if there's going to be a dub or a nickname for their plays, both of them would be controlled aggression.
Controlled
Basically.
aggression.
Yeah, because when it comes to the pushes of Kohibi and Envious, you would really see they know when to play back. And when it's paired with Yoki's initiation, even as a Sova or a KO, you'd really see them shine. But
Mm.
that's the same case for Bren Victress. We're seeing here Mikasi and as well as Alexi pop off because of the rest of the members of Shirazi and Zinni as well, with the information that they provide each other. And even as Twirly, she might not be as, I think I saw the comment section that wow, Twirly is a Killjoy main. But basically, she's embracing the role very well. She holds down the flank. She makes sure that the space is not taken away by SMG because they know SMG. They know that Kohibi is hungry for those flanks and for those kills together with Envious. So they want to contain that as much as possible. And that's why I think it's a harder pill to swallow for both of the teams because they have the same strategy. They have the same play style basically.
They really do, because last night we saw a double duelist comp against Arista as well. And Mikasi as well as Twirly were just so good at taking up space. I really think Twirly really stole the show last night with her very, very flashy Reina plays. So seeing her kind of take it down a notch and play on a Killjoy was something different for me because it's not flashy, it's not aggressive, but she's really good at not only just watching flanks, but also gathering that information. She doesn't play as aggressive as a Reina does. She doesn't really go for those kills, but what she does is she stays alive, relays the information to her teammates so they have an idea which area they really, really need to choke and which idea they can kind of like give breathing room. Either way, though, both teams are playing very, very well tonight. I really gotta say, SMG, while they look a little bit more, less dominating than Bren V, but either way, the result is very much the same, regardless of points.
Definitely. But it all boils down to the timing, right? There was this time that the Team SMG, Kohibi, and the rest of the gang, they had the perfect timing for the lurk. Imagine a 3-woman push from CT. That didn't really come to the minds of Bren that would be happening because even though Shirazi was there and ready for the trade, She didn't expect two people to peek her out. And then when it boiled down to Alexi's potential clutch, she knew that the rest of the members were there in A main where the spike is. And these might also cause, it doesn't really have to be just the position of the members in the map, but it also is when and the timing when you are going to show yourself and show up, basically.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think one thing that we really gotta give SMG props for is the adaptability. We saw them how they're able to just go aggressive really, really fast as Storm aside. We saw them how they're able to just switch it up and just take the break, just slow down and press the pedals of the brake. I think what I really liked right now for Bren V is just how they're so good at not at just controlling the map, but I really gotta give props to SMG. They're not allowing Bren V to control the momentum of the game, regardless if they don't have the right guns, regardless if they're kind of like behind, they can still make some magic happen. And that's why they're still up there in the top 3, top 4. Now, meanwhile, for Bren V, I would say that I think one of their biggest downfalls is, I would have to say, map awareness. They're not very, how I say, they're not learning from their mistake about the flanks. They're not learning from their mistakes about watching their backside, because they know that Envious will can just come out anywhere. The teleport from an Omen coupled with great gunplay is one of the most scary and painful things to deal with. And you see a quiet Omen, those memes with the cat ears and the just kawaii faces. Yeah, you have that
Yeah.
kind of Omen where you just kind of support a team and play with your team. But these are not those kawaii Omens, okay? These are just straight out duelist Omens that will come out of nowhere and instantly headshot you if you aren't paying attention. And for so many rounds, with just a Sheriff, Envious is able to bring so much value to the team, able to turn so many rounds around. And I have to say that Envious is a tide turner for our team SMG.
Definitely. And well, even if Envious does show up, especially during the second half, it also should be coupled with the rest of the team members. I appreciate the effort from Yoki pushing forward as the KO, and even Kfredite holding down the ground even as a turtle. But I think when it comes down to Bren Victress strategies, you mentioned there's always going to be a buddy system. Then probably this is something that SMG also needs, especially during the defense. If you don't really play together, then that's going to be the struggle. Bren Victress, they're gonna find holes wherein they can really shoot out, and then also really get and gain that advantage and spin it around towards their favor. And that's what we've been seeing, at least as a trend for this day, for all of the games that we've seen.
Yeah.
When it comes to Brendo, I do have to say that Zinni as well, and the leadership together with Mikasi, it's proving really very effective when it comes to the calls. Because even though they're down to at least 2 members, SMG really getting it. The clutch from Twirly, I guess, gave them. I guess that was also a call from the members of the team of Bren Victress. Okay, most of them are there in the B site. Immediately, Twirly just runs off with her knife out because she has so much trust in her teammates. And when you have that, if that's present within your teammates, then basically Bren Victress, they're gonna get to win this map of Ascent.
Yeah, that's right. And something just dawned on me is that SMG, they're able to play, very, very separately from each other because they have good gunplay. So I realized one more thing that they can do on Ascent for SMG for defensive side in order to at least gain map control for them is they can actually play this game where they can go, because they have a double duelist comp. You can have one duelist making entry and one duelist making sure that you can take up space in another area, making sure it's clear on the other area. So this is also something that I'm really looking forward to. Either way, I'm really excited to see also like how Twirly is able to just really switch it up between agents, because when you play Arena and taking up so much space last night, you're just so dominant. I would expect you to do it again today, but the switch over to a Killjoy is just very different. However, though, we're gonna have a quick break before we go into the second half of the match. Do not go anywhere, grab a snack, and we'll see you guys in a little while.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back,
And we are back here in the second half of the match between SMG and Bren Victress. We saw a very dominating play here during the attack of Bren, but now it's the time of SMG to shine during these attacks. Aggression, as you mentioned, but can they control it against Bren V?
That's a really good lineup here coming on from Kefrodite. Question is, will it actually clear anything? But immediately, as soon as that's out, immediately the spokes come out. Envious already has the control off tree. And this is what I was talking about in terms of map control. And I love to see this. Envious leading the charge here. Doesn't care if she is an Omen, a Jet, or anything else in between. Immediately runs in twirly, 15 HP. Gonna get knocked out by Yoki. But from the top side, they're very aware. Mikasi from the side there makes a lot of space for the team.
Yep, and Alexi throwing in that flash allows them to come in, but Envious gets one, but it's just now down to Kohaibi. We know she's good in these situations, but she's stuck in the middle. Shirazi takes her down, and another win for Bren Victress as they take the 9th and the pistol round, which really means this can snowball in their favor coming into the next ones.
Yeah, that's right. Really great start from SMG. The aggression is just something that I really like seeing. And in terms of map control, they are learning really fast how to play against Bren Victress, and that definitely is coming out in their favor. Now the question is, how is Bren Victress gonna counter this sort of play? Because this is the same thing they did to them earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And if Bren also gets this, it's gonna be a big lead that SMG has to climb. They're at 4 in the moment. If they don't really push through with any of the kills and even punishing the economy of Bren V, this is gonna look like it's gonna be tricky for SMG to get these wins. But Envious is leading the charge as well here. But good thing Shirazi has the smoke and the incendiary to really stop and slow them down. But Kohaibi, she's so tempted to walk through and cross this smoke. A paint shell is thrown, but that's not gonna hurt Shirazi at the moment. Turley, yet again, she's gonna be a turtle. Gets one with a bulldog. She even gets the Shirazi to help her out. But behind her is actually Kohaibi, who manages to slip through her fingers. Shirazi is gonna get the 3K and the 10th on the board as predicted for Bren.
That was just so well played. That turtle just coming up on top. This is something that she definitely learned from the previous round, and she knows how to use it against them. Either way, very well played. And we just talked about that, how you can take a site, but you gotta make sure you clear all your angles, be it hell, be it bricks, or anything else in between.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at that, when it comes to the sandwich plays that Bren Victress is really doing against SMG, it may look like they're unstoppable. But at this point, now that SMG has the guns, and these aren't SMGs, these are rifles, at least for the team of the Kohaibi and the rest of the gang, this might prove very helpful, and that's it. Envious takes one, but Shirazi and Zinni just really pushed out and walked through mid like it was their territory. Mikasi even taking down Kipperdaiti and Furley with that headshot, a beautiful one against Yoki. Kohaibi is down as well, and it was almost a flawless round, and they even take free guns out of the way. You mentioned this. Get one win, and for that round, and it's gonna be free guns for them.
Yep, that's right. Free guns for all, at least for that win. Either way, Bren Victress looking really good. They may have not really, sealed the deal for round number 1, but I like their adaptability. They know, like, okay, they're using the same strat we use. They want to take so much space. They want to control all site. Okay, we can play the same way. We can play as lurky and as aggressive as they do. But look at that. Suddenly, starting here, they put 2 on A, 3 on B. Immediately, they're gonna smoke off catwalk, not allowing them the freedom to just move onto site as much as they can. Kipperdaiti! Mikasi just a little bit faster on that first contact.
Definitely, Kachao's not here in this lobby, but Mikasi just speeds through and gets that kill. And even Envious here, she's managed to take up this space, but because of the smoke, there's a little bit of comfort. But once that's down, Mikasi is gonna be here from behind there, very hungry for the kills. While there is a dink from Yoki, Mikasi strikes back with her third for this round. Kohaibi shuts her down, however, with that sheriff. But behind this smoke is actually her, and she's waiting for that suppression to go away until she can throw in the paint shells. There's nobody there, however. Shirazi is on the other side of that room. She spots out one, but she doesn't really hit Shirazi. She's so cautious now because they know that map control was already lost, but Envious is out for the lurk.
Envious doing envious things. Here we go. Gets Zinni out of the way. Alexi does have 5 HP, but we've seen Alexi before. Envious has only 1 HP. 1 versus 5. Who sneezes first is the question. They're running for their lives. They want to get side B. Is empty right now. The rotations. Right now, Twirly smells a rat. Twirly wants to know if there is something happening here onto B. And right now, immediately, teleport does come out there. Just kind of bait out them. Just think that they're playing inside of the smoke. But for now, slow rotation still from Bren Victress. I think they're just trying to figure out a game plan here. It is still an Omen, an Envious on top of that, as well as a Raze. For now, there is gonna be a suppress. Envious, remember, she only has 1 HP. Lexi with 10. Let's see how they go, but Twirly finds Envious first immediately with the run and gun. Right now, Kohaibi does find 1, finds 2! Lexi only 10 HP. What can you do? There's someone who reacts first. Both Alex from the side. She was not expecting that.
Yeah, that was great from Alexi. But however, really a good play for Kohaibi, getting 2. And Alexi was down to 5 HP, but Alexi at that point, she just really outsmarts. She knows that Kohaibi is hiding inside that smoke, so she waited for it to dissipate before she actually just really struck in and held the gavel. And now it's match point for Bren Victress. In terms of the defense of Bren Victress, they know when and the timing of the push should be. They knew initially that Kohaibi was there in short. That's why they really invested a lot of heads there in A. And then they opted for the retake. Although there were guns that were picked up by Team SMG, that wasn't enough. Envious was so low at 1 HP.
That's right. This is a very aggressive play from Alexi. Immediately flashes out. Does not catch anyone at all right now. Here comes the ultimate. Flashes out. Immediately moves out of the way. Kohaibi does find Zinni though, but Alexi will be trading out another frag just to stop the push, but they don't care. They're going to take the damage just to bring her down, but Fixkey just gonna be so happy with that. Shirazi waiting! Does get Envious. That's one big problem out of the way. Shirazi as well does a double op. That is so oppressive.
The 2 operator buy, they just really want to finish this out.
Operator. Sorry.
Yeah, that was very smooth for
attack.
both of the ladies, right? I mean, Shirazi and Mikazi, even with a showstopper, is it gonna connect though? It's gonna be behind the wall. Spixky, oops, Shirazi sees that cape from
One
Sova, but
enemy
that's
remaining.
not gonna be enough. So just one. Down to one. And Fixie is trapped. She's in the middle like a mouse and she's
Last
waiting
player
to be
standing.
captured. Fixie gets one. But with the operator of Mikasi, she drops
Defenders
down dead. Mikasi
Look at this
gets the
wreckage.
win for Bren
I'm
Victress.
Yep, that's right. Very dominating performance from Bren Victress. Regardless of that, you really gotta give it to Team SMG. SMG, their playstyle was very, very flawless as well. I'm sorry for the loud sounds in the background. It's Eid here in Malaysia, and everyone's excited by playing sparklers as well as some merchant outside. I don't know how to call it in English. Either way, though, coming back to the game, what's really exciting about seeing these two teams is like we're seeing the best of the best kind of gameplay. So now, what's lacking in terms of SMG? Not really anything. It's just more of outplays in general, because in terms of taking up space, Bren Victress is just so good. They immediately after round one, I think what happened is that SMG, they really kind of showed all of their cards on the table, and Bren Victress like, okay, we know exactly what you're doing, and we're gonna just show you guys how exactly we're gonna be playing that, how to take up space mid, and this is how you counter it.
Yeah, definitely. And don't worry about the fireworks. I guess they're lit up also to congratulate Bren Victress for their first victory for this series. They got map number 1, but because of the power, it's not just going to be the firepower, but it's also the calls. During the towards the tail end of the match, we could really see that they're out for blood. Them just pushing through mid with just specters against rifles. They weren't scared at all, and it just really goes to show the confidence that they're bringing into the table against the team of Kohaibi. And if they're able to shut down Envious and as well as Kohaibi, then basically they're going to roll in as the victors or the victress of this match. But basically, looking at this, Kohaibi really did her best to try and control the situation as the MVP for Team SMG. But Alexi as the KO, with the suppression, it makes her unstoppable.
It really does, and on top of that, Alexi plays alone, and we've seen this sort of plays as well from Paper X on Forsaken, as well as Persija as well on Famous. This is the kind of like duelist style gameplay for initiators. It's very selfish. It can be played on alone. I think it's a lot better when you use a KO, because there's so much you can do with KO's utilities when you want to play on your own in the backside, even alone on site. Either way, I gotta say that both teams are just looking so good today. And I think another thing that we really want to highlight here is how that individually SMG looks great, but sometimes I just feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the teammates, not in terms of communication or gameplay or game style, rather more of like how fast they want to rotate, how they want to move in together, because sometimes it feels like it's a little bit too slow compared to how Bren reacts to information as well as rotations and sounds. Either way though, Alexi will be the MVP here. Headshot 31.8, not the highest that we've seen today, but still pretty impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, very impressive for Alexi. Whatever agent she selects, she turns out to be the one on top, especially for any lobby that she's in. I really have to say that Alexi is really a game changer when it comes to these rounds. And as a KO, if you're already suppressed, then you just have to worry about Alexi coming at you with also the flashpoint in hand.
Yeah, that's right. But before anything happens, before the next match, don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break because the fireworks are raging outside. We need to stop before all your ears just blow out. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Team SMG may be the team with the idea or the game plan, but all of that is no use thanks to the power coming in from Bren Victress. I'm Natasha, otherwise known as Tash Money, your caster for today, alongside Donut, and we're gonna go to game number 2.
Yeah, game number two is where we will draw the line. Will the team Bren Victress prove to be the victress for this series, or will Team SMG steal out their own map pick away from them? So split is going to be the map. Map number two, we've seen the team of SMG really show their aggression when it comes to this, and we're seeing probably another go high B raise when it comes down to this map. And I think that's one of my favorite sites to see when it comes to really watching Valorant game changers. And so, but there will also be a raise head to head. It's gonna be Mikasi against them as well. So as we can see here, Bren Victress steals the map away from SMG, getting a 13-4, and we're down to split. We've seen SMG have a lot of success here in this map, and this is probably why they're picking this one. I think in the previous Game Changer series in 2021, they managed to win this map against Alter Ego Celeste. So probably there are remnants of the success here. That's why they're selecting this one.
Yeah, that's right. When you look at like a split, it's very defense heavy. So the safest way to make sure that you can at least get some success in this map is to make sure you at least get 4 or 5 points on attack. But yesterday when we see AECL play it, how they played on split, regardless if they're attack or defense, is that they play attack style, and they really like this attacking style. So if say SMG still plays that double duelist comp and they go just take so much control off mid side, it doesn't matter if they play attack or defense, you're pretty much gonna get a full success in either side.
Yeah, definitely. But today, with a lot of patches coming through, it might have changed as well in terms of the odds for both of the teams. But given that Ascent was really won by Bren Victress out of everything else, we'll see first the odds in favor based on the agent selection.
Yeah, that's right. So now looking at the lineups here, I mean, we can tell that Sage is one of the more popular agents for this particular map. But if you look in terms of splits, Brent Esports splits lineup, they've played like about 11 games on this map with 64% in terms of their win rate. But when you look at attack rate as well as defense rate, it's still 50-50 regardless. So it shows a more balanced sort of style or gameplay that they have, or success rate that they have on this map. But when you look at the side of SMG split, they only have 4 maps played. But so far in that 4 maps played, they have 100% win rate. So seeing their lineup here is very similar to what they've always used. But as for the side of Bren Esports, they have so many different styles. So what kind of value can this lineup from Bren Victress bring to the team?
Well, definitely different, as Alexi now will choose to have the breach instead of the KO. I've seen Alexi play a KO here, but probably because of the use of the utility together with the rays of Mikasi, that's going to prove even more effective during the defense and the retakes. But I would love to see it's going to be a Sage still picked by Fixkey and Zinni. That's going to make all of the difference, especially with the amount of control that you can have with the wall orb, at least the barrier orb for the Sage, and as well as the slow orbs available to you. When it comes to slowing down the push, I would really leave it up to Zinni slow orbs when it comes down to the madness that is Gohaibi and Envious. And then while for the team of SMG, there's not much difference in terms of the sentinels that they picked. K for Deity as Clutch for Deity. KJ is a common pick for them, but Twirly yet again opting to be that sentinel for them is quite remarkable. We've seen her take on that role of a sentinel during the lurks. And as Arena, if you're too forward, you wouldn't really embrace that role. But how she's able to take on for Ascent is very, very noticeable.
Yeah, that's right. So when you look at these two teams, I believe that SMG, they have their type of team that I think they know how to really, really hold site. They know how to play in terms of KJ, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a KJ setup for both teams, both on different sides as well. I've seen KJ setups on Heaven on B. I've seen KJ setups as well on A as well. There's so many different ways you can play KJ on this map, and because this map is smaller and more narrow, it not only buys more time, so you can actually swing out and get those frags as people try to rush onto site. Now, the question is, who will be better at getting that mid control? Because if you have that mid control, you stop flankers, you stop backstabbers, and on top of that, you stop the lurkers as well. You have control of both sides pretty much because you get control of the vents, but it is still possible if you guys want to go through market and through sewers, but it doesn't give you instant access to the site as opposed to getting control all the way up to mail and vents.
Yeah, definitely. And the amount of control that you can also get with the breach, I imagine that there will be a lot of breach moments there in mid to really gain that first control over mid. It's not just going to be walled off by the Sage. I imagine Alexi just really pushing forward there in mid. And then there's going to be a head-to-head against Kohaibi. So it's a breach versus Raze battle with the flashpoints available. And even when it comes to the boom bots, as you mentioned, like how Kohaibi uses it and Mikasi uses it, it's just like it's their own trailblazer basically. So it's gonna help them propel forward and take away the control from each other's teams. But basically, we're here in the map of Split. It's going to be either Bren Victress winning this or Team SMG fighting for game number 3.
I'm really hoping for game number 3, but Split is a map that you want to make sure you can get a little bit ahead. Either way though, okay, for Daidi, gonna be using the turret for some initiate, but really liking how they're using these deep walls instead, because you can play very sneaky, and this is what Zini wants to do. That smoke is gonna give them so much time in order to try to get rid of that, and because of that, they're gonna have to kind of buy time. They can't go into B Heaven, but they can come into A side because Vents is absolutely free. But Twirly is here, and here comes Alexi from the backside. That's a concuss as well as a flash as well, but she has to give up her position because of that. But Twirly from the side, not able to get picked by Mikasi. Gonna be trading it out, but Yoki a little bit faster here, gets Alexi out of the way, and Mikasi is gonna be walled out here, not able to get on the side. Zini from Heaven doesn't know what to do right now. It is a 3-on-3 still, Yoki solo, but on the other hand, for the side of Bren, Victress, they're a little bit more healthy.
Yeah, more healthy than we can ever imagine. Yoki is down, so a little bit of a bullet there will cause her the pain of death. But at the moment, Envious is just really looking down. But as they move forward, they get all of the kills that they need all together. They play it swiftly but quietly, and that is such a good round for Bren Victress. It was looking good for SMG to get the picks, taking down the anchor of the site, which was Turley, but they wanted to play it slow, and slow is what they get, how they get the win. If SMG wants to take things fast, Bren V taking it slow leaves SMG with question marks over their head sometimes, and that's gonna be the change of pace for Bren V.
Yeah, that's right. I really like that they're able to just kind of like work with what they have. They can't come into male, we go straight into A. But the problem is, this is what I talk about in terms of map control. They weren't ready for the post plant. They weren't ready to just make sure that no one comes in from the backside from different areas as well. The wall was good for buying time when you don't have, but the thing is, when you don't have control of not only just Heaven but also main, you have 2 different areas you have to look after. Either way, Zini gonna choose to wall this off this time round, and this is a very fast sort of gameplay we saw from AECL as well. But this is also the type of way that how to say this, AECL play yesterday. They make so much noise on mid, just kind of give out or bait out that information before they go hit another side or another area. But the difference between AECL and how they play for this one is the speed. Inari, she likes playing zooming characters like Neon for this map, but it's a little bit too slow because the when you think it's too slow, this is what happens. The rotation from Bren V is just a little bit faster.
Yeah, but they think that they're all going towards A, but there is intent to come down the vents. and go to mid. But at the moment, Twirly with this ghost is, well, she's gonna get run down there by Kifudite with a classic though. So the wall is just good for a while because Mikasi is gonna be there from behind to get the kill. And Kohabi, she's just waiting. She gets one kill, but she's just the one remaining. Zinni takes her down, and the second round is there for Bren. Victress looking pretty solid in terms of this defense, but the next round is what will define the feud to come.
Honestly, I would think that yes, you are gonna get gun dipped on round number 3 because it is an extra round here for SMG. However, Bren, Victress, they're the type of team who can really get so much value out of round 3 because even though you're gonna get gun dipped so hard, you're either gonna go out with an expensive round or you're gonna get run over because this is what they like to do. They can play these close angles, especially on this map, and look how aggressive Mikasi is playing.
Yeah, she's just waiting there by the smoke.
there's
I
two?
think they have a play here by Shirazi and her, so I think expect a little bit of a push, but Shirazi here just rotates towards B Heaven instead. They had a good plan, but it's just broken down because of the amount of information that they know of. That 1 or 3 people is there by mid. Fixkey takes down Mikasi though. They had an inkling that she's there behind that box. And they take it slow as well. Kohabi takes down Alexi. But the value, as you mentioned, of this bonus round is taken away by the team of SMG because of how slow they pick up the pace. And the plant is going to be down. It's Zinni and Twirly with a Spectre and a Sheriff. Can they make this happen though?
Yep, that's right. Zinni taking a lot of damage actually. Twirly will be slowly making her way inside, but Fixkey is there. She does ding her. 2 bullets left, has to play it real safe. She still has a lot, but she still does have turret. But Kifradite gonna swing up forward, finds Zinni as well. It's gonna be a flawless for them. No expensive rounds, and SMG, that's what they want.
Definitely. They know that Bren Victress, they're very, very good during these third round conversions, even though they're at a disadvantage when it comes to the firepower. So what they did was they played it smart. They wanted to go for the kills before they pushed out towards the site. Because imagine if they just pushed through B main with Mikasi and Shirazi hiding there in the smoke. That would have been a round in favor of Bren V. I like the change up here for SMG. They know what they're up against now, and they really want this win so bad.
That's right, Zinni playing out mid. She knows there's gonna be someone there. Just spraying it out. She does have a bulldog, and that's the skin I actually want. But coming back to the game though, and this is what we see from SMG a lot. They make noise from mid. They don't necessarily take up space in heaven. Here comes a tremor. Ooh, beautiful swing out from Alexi as well. That's how you play a breach, and that's how you get a pick. Either way, Envious got tagged a little bit by Zinni here, and they're just trying to get control of Nail. Zinni gonna get caught out there. That's really good trick control, but Mikasi gonna be trading it out as well, getting Kohabi out of the way. There is gonna be a revive going back into Kohabi. The wall has been expanded here as well, so there's not gonna be a wall gonna be used for post-plant.
Yeah, and at this moment, Bren V looking like it was a 3v3, but immediately SMG with that resurrection brings the favor back towards them. But it all boils down to Twirly hearing all of these footsteps and maybe bringing down 1 or 2. That could make all of the change for this round. But she's just waiting. She's really anchoring this site. She's gonna get stunned. She's not able to peek out at the moment, but this gives them all of the information that they're here in A main. Ooh, timing though. Envious gets the kill. And it's just down to Alexi and Shirazi.
Yeah, that's right. She thought that it was safe, but that's the thing about Envious. She likes to play lurks. She will take some time, just bait you out like that. Alexi does pick one off though. Here comes the Conquest, barely missing her flash as well. And Shirazi gets the pick as she tries to move away. It's down to Fixkey as well as Yoki. It is the battle of the Sage. It is the battle of the breaches for now. Flash does come out. Yoki does get one. Well, at least an assist as well from Fixkey. Shirazi gonna try and wallbang this, but here comes Conquest, moves forward, but Yoki just a little bit faster.
Yeah, that was great use of utility there by Yoki. Timing of the flashpoint right after that was that fault line for her to displace the members. Because, I mean, when you see Shirazi play as the Brimstone, even without the stim beacon, she's gonna rush through the site. And that was good. That was a good way to slow her down. And another round on the board for SMG. Looking pretty good because Bren Victress, they're opting to save this round.
Yeah, this is actually one of the rare situations where we actually see Bren Victress in a situation in monetary wise, it doesn't look good. Either way, gonna be running out mid. Zinni playing close corners, and I think this is how you want to play, especially if you have a frenzy. Make it as expensive as possible is the name of the game. Clearing out Mail with the pain shells, that's the value you get from a raise. Either way, smokes will be expended as well. But Gohaibi gets it just as the smoke goes down. That is absolutely sharp.
Very, very sharp from Gohaibi against Mikasi's Sheriff. I mean, Mikasi had the opportunity to double peek with Zinni, but they used that smoke to their advantage. Aphrodite also takes down Twirly, and this is just a side control for them. Alexi with a flank. This is going to be an X factor if she's able to get at least one together with Shirazi. This is gonna be cheeky.
Absolutely is. We just talked about how Split is a defense-heavy
Right
map,
there.
and in so many situations from tonight all the way today, I think we gotta rethink that because everyone is having so much more success on attack than on defense. Here comes a tremor from the side of Alexi, does not able to bring someone down, but Shirazi does find Fixki in return. Des gets two. You wanna be able just to barely miss that, but there is a team ace coming through as Yoki and Shirazi.
Yeah, when it comes to really the calls, they executed very well. I just really have to give props to Bren Victress. Their aim was to really take down one or two heads before the bomb explodes. And for them, they were able to take down one through the Marshal of Shirazi, and that's very good. But also, when it comes to SMG's dominance, they're able to circle in the defensive strategies of Bren. Twirly here is left all alone sometimes in the A site, and she's not able to get all of the kills that they need. Maybe taking down one or two is a great way to go, basically, when you're the anchor. But SMG, they're reading Twirly's holds very, very well.
Yep, that's right. But the problem is they're just giving up so much space onto Vents. We talked about mid control, and I thought that Bren Victress would be a lot more stronger for that control defensively. Either way, Gohaibi gonna get paranoia here. Luckily, no follow-up. They're gonna just back off a little bit because they have an idea that there might be more than at least two people there. They don't want to take the risk because what I see here, SMG really thrives in numbers rather than them playing alone. And this map, they're so comfortably moving together. They're holding hands. They don't have to worry too much about being clumped up together.
Yeah, and once this wall actually breaks down, this is gonna be timing for them. Shirazi doesn't know that Gohaibi is waiting behind this wall, but Gohaibi's gonna give that away with the pain shells and even using the showstopper, it connects towards Zinni. But even though with the pain of the molly, she still pushes through because he's gonna be there to shut her down. Twirly, however, takes down one together with Alexi. Who's gonna be envious. He's from the shadows, but destroyed. They don't know where the rest of Bren is going to be. Twirly takes down the head of Yoki, and envious.
10 seconds left.
It's gonna be 1v2. Alexi is there on site, and timing for that peak is a kill, and they equalize the situation, a 3-3.
Yeah, I really like what's going on here. We talked about SMG having strength in numbers. Gohaibi did get 2 picks here. That was big. But the problem now here is Twirly as well is getting those picks as well. And when you think about it, Twirly doing such a great job anchoring, buying so much time. But when you see SMG play separately like this, that's when you see the spike of power they had in the beginning suddenly just drops.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the hold of Twirly, when it's paired with Alexi support, that just really makes the A site impenetrable. As you can see here, Alexi used to be the first rotation whenever there would be noise there in mid, but Alexi now not moving a muscle there in the A site doesn't makes the default plays of SMG breakable basically. And
Yeah.
it looks like Zinni with the judge. This is gonna be scary if they push through the smoke.
Yeah, that is. But they always play the same way. And look at that. If you saw the way that they actually put the actually for Twirly, how she put her bots now, she's actually taking control of heaven instead of taking control of the site itself. And I think that's really smart because they like to play through mid. And now they can't even go on to be male because there's a wall here now. They have to buy time. They have to wait 45 seconds to go. And by the time that wall goes down, they're not gonna have a lot of time. They're gonna have to rush through. And when you are in a situation where you have to really, really rush, this is when mistakes tend to come through.
It's true. And it's gonna be scary. If they push through here with 2 judges, that's gonna be scary. That's one down by Shirazi. Envious with the paranoia, but still close range. However, Yoki spots out the judge wielder. That's Shirazi down.
Yep, that's
And
right.
even with the lockdown in play, this pushes out the team of SMG back.
You should run.
Envious. She's gonna be ready if there's going to be a flank by the team of Bren V, but they're smoked out. There's nothing else that they can do. Even Mikasi uses the showstopper to push them away, and they were really expending all of the utilities they need, and they get the win regardless of the push from SMG.
That was such great use of the lockdown. It doesn't matter because from their idea, they have to move back. They're in a situation where they don't have any information because of the smokes coming in, because of how much chaos is going on from the 2 lockdowns. I don't think I even heard the tap of the bomb at all. I think they just stuck it and they didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, with the just the smokes, okay, and also the trust that they give out to each other. That Mikasi is handling it with a showstopper, and then Alexi's rolling thunder just really pushed everybody else away. It might not be a fight for aim, but it's a fight for utility that Bren always seems to win when it comes to the use of the ultimates. And I have to really get that stats right. Okay,
Mhm.
how many rounds has Bren Victress won when it comes to just really spending all of the utilities for them to get the win? I think that's really a high percentage. Given Twirly's lockdown early in Ascent, even when it comes to Mikasi's showstopper, even without conversion of a kill, they still managed to push the team of SMG out. And this calls for a timeout because it looks like Bren Victress, they're looking pretty solid now in terms of the retakes. So
Yeah.
if they opt for the same strategy yet again, SMG, they have to fight back. Also in terms of utilities.
Yep, that's right. Looks like Zinni gonna be walling a different way instead. She wants to change it up because every time there is a different way that you are gonna be after not a lockdown, but rather a timeout, you're gonna be seeing a change in game plan for at least both teams. I like how versatile they're gonna be like that. The way they changed up their setups, it just keeps SMG guessing because sometimes in the first 3 rounds it seemed like SMG knew what they were doing, but suddenly you saw a change in pace and a change in how they decided to defend. Instead of defending sites, it's easier for them to take control of a top mid here instead of spending time to protect the site because retakes are a lot more easier when you have control of mid. Either way here, Lexi gonna find Keferdite, and that's one big problem out of the way. 4 more to go, but SMG gonna maintain this slow sort of playstyle. But personally for me, I think on split, fast is the name of the game because you get so much value to set up after post flank.
That's the reason why Kohaibie has satcheled in this B site, but they can't really find anybody else because there was already a push. But what they don't know is Mikasi is here waiting. Shirazi is able to take down the holder of the spike. That's high value information for them. But Shirazi, she's being hunted down. They're able to retrieve the spike, but once they go back to B, there's gonna be Alexi and the rest of the members of Bren V to stop this plant.
10
What's
seconds
available
left.
for them to use is the aftershock and even the fault line available for them.
enemy
Alexi
remaining.
brings down Envious with just the sheer use of utility. One is dazed and confused. She doesn't know where to aim. but behind her is Shirazi to secure the round for them.
Yep, that's right. That is the beauty that we see in Team Bren Victress. It's very rare you're gonna see a situation where they swing out alone. If you do see them swing out alone, it's gonna be on the other side of the map. They are swinging out together, but it's just on different areas. So now for Yoki, yes, the plant does happen, but at what cost? You lose your teammate, you lose everyone in between, and they ran out of time because they played it too slow. And this is what I was talking about in terms of setting up for the post plant, because it took up so much time. Yes, you saw Kohaibi actually settle in the site to take some space, but the problem is because it still took them too long to get into the site, because Shirazi managed to buy time and catch them out. That's the problem in itself.
Yeah, definitely. They have to be more careful as to where the spike is placed, because Bren V, they always look for opportunities during the lurks. And look at this, another opportunity is to be taken by Mikasi by the amount of space they've already taken away in mid.
Yeah, that's right. Mikasi waiting as silent as a mouse here. They know that they are there. Walls are up. I think they suspect something is happening. Wall bangs happening, but barely missing her. But now there's the paranoia. Envious does find Zinni in return, but still no reaction coming up from Mikasi, because she has to be patient. If you want to get those multiple sprays out, you cannot let at all people know your location. But Kphrodite not able to push inside. There's the smoke, there's some fire on the ground, and Shirazi has bought some time.
You have Shirazi with an incendiary, is able to buy them time, but are they able to stop the plant? They're smoked off at the moment, and they're being pre-fired here by Heaven. And even with that jump peak, we know where else SMG is. But Mikasi here, the patience game, will it pay off? She gets one with this flash, getting the double. But there's more to come. Kohaibi is behind that wall. She's even getting the third, and Alexi again with the aftershock. It's now down to Fixkey, which Mikasi eliminates from the picture. Bren V looking pretty solid. I guess they've already found out how SMG plays this attack.
Yep, that's right. The Rubik's Cube. That is SMG for this map. Yes, dominating at first, but once they figured out, immediately lurks coming through. And the thing is, the amount of space they took in mid was actually the game changer here. We talked about mid control. The thing is, SMG thought that mid was controlled. They thought that everyone was there. They didn't know where exactly Mikasi was going to come from. They thought that she was actually at A because she wasn't present on mid side. But the thing is, Mikasi was there. She was playing quietly. Yes, they lost Zinni, but that's the bait and switch, or at least the distraction that they wanted.
Yeah, they thought it was just Zinni there alone in mid, but after a couple of fires through the box, they didn't really care to check if Mikasi was truly there, and that's the reason why they fell. And with that flank, the patience really paid off for Mikasi getting the 4K, and we're seeing another setup here by mid. It's gonna be a Zinni Mikasi play here, trying to change up the game, first peeking and then using the utility to really throw them off.
Yep, just now as well. Envious, if you did, I'm not sure if you noticed, Envious tried to play flanks, but this time around, it seems like Bren Victress are more aware of that situation, because there are so many times that Envious try to come out in the back, but you already are pretty much aware there's at least some utility there or someone watching, and Envious is not able to make as much distraction or cause as much chaos as she was able to in the previous map of Ascent. Either way, they still have the area of ropes in their control, but not for long, because here, there's the aftershock. Envious gonna immediately put that up to rest with the paranoia here. Kohaibi aggressively taking up so much damage. Alexi from that side gonna be sprayed out from Kohaibi. Did not realize that she's over there on Heaven, but Fixkey gonna find Twirly in return. There's the anchor out of the way. Mikasi is still trying to push inside. Kohaibi is alone, but Shirazi with the crouch manages to survive.
Yeah, and even Fixkey manages to resurrect one more, so it evens out the situation. A 3v3, and Envious uses the From the Shadows to take a main control. So if anybody pushes up, then that's going to be a situation for her. Although she does push up ramps, it's going to be a challenge for them as the rest of the members of Bren V have already taken the site. And it's not really planted for her. That's why Zinni takes her down. And it's going to be a comfortable defuse for Mikazi. And this is the 7th on the board for Bren Victress.
Yep, that's right. And I really like that when you saw immediately Zinni as well as Shirazi turned around at the same time, giving her no chance to react. Yes, she got a pick, but she's the last one standing. It's actually really, really hard. Now, the problem with Envious's lurk is that the timing is not really syncing with her teammates. It's a little bit too late for her to go out onto site. She's not giving that support, that cover that her teammates really need, especially when it comes to post-plant. So now she needs to figure out how to time her lurks so that can actually help out her teammates instead of just playing alone at the end.
Definitely, and if it's going to be down to the timing, it seems as if Bren Victress have it really solid. And look at this Mikazi yet again with the operator. We've seen her use this in the map of Ascent, and in Split it may look like she's unstoppable, even throws in the paint shells to secure the space again for her. She does have the showstopper also, so she can use that to slow down the push, but I mean, she's too confident with her aim right now, and it's going to be scary for SMG to push through, even with the smoke, because two people are guarding the heavens. They make sure there's no demons coming their way, because the angels are guarding it. It's going to be Zinni and Shirazi waiting.
Yep, that's right, but B main is the way to go. They do know, they heard the sound already. Mikasi just playing the waiting here, the long game rather. One peek is all she needs. She just gets one, but look at that. She's very, very disciplined with her fingers. Let's get fixed key out of the way. It wasn't who she was aiming for, but not bad. Shirazi finds Go High B. Here comes the party. The party just stops here. Shirazi with 2. And this from Sunlight, they didn't realize, but immediately responds here from Zinni, but not quite enough. She gets 2 out of the way. Kefrodite with 17 HP, not able to get the spike, but the jump from Alexi, the jump! Are you kidding me? Kefrodite, can it be a clutch for Dite? Is the question here. 17 HP, but Twirly's saying not today.
Nope, Turley turn things around, making sure that Clutch for Dite is no longer doable for that situation. That was good though. I mean, that was a 4v2, but Envious equalizes the situation almost instantly, and Kefrodite Turley in a very, very dangerous position. Still, she heard the footsteps and she looks back and she knows where Kefrodite is coming from. Now they secured the 8th on the board. It looks like Bren, they're the victors of the second half. If they make this a 9-3, it's very, very huge deficit for SMG.
Victress is still very much available, but Zinni gonna go on the aggressive here, make some space. They want as much space as possible. They are not getting topside at all, but Yoki gonna find Mikasi despite the fact that she nearly gets knocked down. That's a great value for them because Mikasi has been the bane in their side. However, though, Yoki gonna get the heal there, so it doesn't really matter too much. But right now, mid control is something that's really, really hard. But look at where the spike is. It's on B. Here comes the lockdown. But I think they're just gonna be taking it safe. It doesn't really matter because they're very, very confident in playing retakes. But Go High B, and Envy is gonna take that situation to go on aggressive here. Shirazi tries to make some space, but look at that. Just denied the area.
Yeah, with the use of the orbital strike, that slows them down, but there's gonna be a damage here. But Envious making sure that there's no space for Shirazi to get the kills. And even with Turley with her own lockdown, Envious TPs away, but a good fault line to secure their win. A flawless round at that. But still, NV, very, very solid when it comes to the defense, and now when it comes to the aggression. In Split with Mikasi's blast pack satchel in power, I'm really going to be really favoring Bren V at the moment because of how good they are when it comes to the trades and how smart they would play against the team of SMG. They would know where to look at the right moment. They know what angles to hold. After a couple of rounds where they lost mid control through vents, they easily switched up the situation, invested more of the Killjoy utilities there in Heaven, and had Alexi really cover for them to secure no space and no opening for SMG to take from them. But at the moment, at least SMG, they're striking back. Will we see the momentum in their favor? That's a big question, though. What are your thoughts, Tash, when it comes to that first half?
Personally, I think a lot of it is skewed toward Bren Victress because it is defense. Because the map, like it or not, is very, very heavy skewed toward defense. But I really gotta give it to the side of SMG. Their mid control is immaculate. They know how to play it, and there's so many times, despite how many people or how many setups or lineups they put there, just stop the top mid from being taken over. There's so many times where yes, they can't take male, but they'll go straight to ropes, to the point that Bren Victress has to give up site, cannot put any of the setups on site at all because they have to protect heaven instead. And Envious, she came online at the last minute. That was huge because they didn't even realize that she was there. Now, coming into attack site, because this is a map that SMG chose, I think they have a plan of action. After all, they did end attack with 4, and in my opinion, 4 and above is a very, very safe score as you switch over to defense side, because it's so much easier for you to gain points on defense compared to attack. Now, the question is Bren Victress a lot better at taking control of mid side? Can they be more dominating? That is what I want to see from them, because if they're able to get that control, a lot more control than what SMG was able to do, it's gonna be game over because we've seen the value that comes in from their lurks.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess what SMG had in store for us during the attack was really, really mid control. But I failed to see looking for other opportunities within the map. But it's always the case of Kfredite trying to lurk, but Alexi or Twirly shutting them down in the process. They all had success when it comes to the B takes, but the retakes from Bren Victress was very, very well put together. And that's going to be the case. If the retakes are solid, then their side takes are going to be equally as good, right? When it comes to this, Kfredite, the sole defender of the A site, is left alone. And as the team of Bren Victors are pushing through, 3 people peeking you, who are you gonna shoot at?
Yep, that's right. I don't think she was expecting 3 people to come up heaven, but that's the power of that. Look at that. The wall up there from Zinni means that topside heaven as well as screens is pretty much clear. Where are you gonna go through? You have no choice but to either go through ropes or go through aiming. Either way, Envious gonna be breaking that off, and that's some information as well. Vixky is ready, finds Twirly. She was not aware of the jump shot. But Zinni gonna trade that out with Envious. Here comes the flash. Gonna give them so much value, but Zinni finishes off Kohaibi and round 1 in the pocket of Bren Victress.
If the team of Bren Victress straying more than just this round, then it's gonna look like a similar situation like we saw in Ascent. After SMG got 4, Bren Victress did not let anything else happen for SMG. Yes, there were kills. Yes, there were trades for SMG, but basically the teamwork that Victress showed, quite unstoppable, especially when it comes to the aggression. And when there are 5 people coming at you and really circling in on you, that's gonna be quite scary, even for the likes of Clutch for Daiki, even Kohaibi here in mid.
Yep, that's right. Here come the Feint Shells, not quite getting anyone in return, but it does buy time. Vixky with the shorty, going on the aggressive, but that alarm bot is gonna spot her out if she pushes forward here. Kohaibi does get spotted out here. Mikasi and Zinni gonna be trading out. Mikasi with 2 right now. That's big value immediately from the back as well. Envious gonna be caught out over there. They know the playbook, they know the lurks, and they are letting nothing fall out of their fingers right now. Spike has been planted. Shirazi has heaven control.
And Kfredite is just using a shorty, so this is gonna be quite tricky for her if she wants to really get another kill. But she's gonna wait it out. If she peeks out, there will be 2, and then it's gonna be Zinni to also peek out. So she's just gonna wait here. If she dies to the spike, then it's okay. It's just that she really wants to get these exit frags.
Yep, that's right. Get 1 or 2, make an expensive round. But in her mind, she's singing, gotta get an apple pop. Boots with the fur, not quite with the shorty right now.
Yeah, I mean, Shotty got nothing with that shorty. When
Yeah.
it comes to all of those, I mean, that was supposedly a round for her if Bren Victress chose to go A, but she was just waiting. I saw her in the mini map. She was just really waiting. Well, as you sang earlier, all by herself.
That's the
But
song for her.
that wasn't the case. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you're going to a retake with just a shorty, I mean, you just have to give it to your opponents, right?
Yeah.
But still, now it's a different take. While it was a flawless round for Bren Victress, SMG, they have the rifles.
Yep, they have rifles and they're gonna be very happy, but look at how differently they're playing now. Instead of taking mid, they want to go straight on A. Either way though, here comes the smokes. Yoki immediately concusses out, but Mikasi already on ramps, taking up so much space. Regardless of how many flashes you throw out, doesn't even matter. Aphrodite does find Zinni though, but Twirly gonna trade it out with Yoki. For now, has to move forward because the pain shells are just so good at either taking it out of the way. Regardless, wall bangs are coming out. Twirly gonna find Aphrodite in return. It's still a 3-on-4 situation, but Fixie does get the wall bang on Mikasi. Kohaibi as well finds Alexi. They know how exactly they're gonna be playing this and how they surround the site.
Yep, that's is gonna be scary. You
Last
mentioned
player
the
standing.
conversion of the team of Bren Victress when it comes to the third round, but it's down to Twirly in a clutch situation. It's not really planned for her. She hears the drop down there, but Kuhaibi through the smoke must have seen the barrel of that bulldog. So now SMG, they take one round away from Bren Victress.
Yep, that's right. But either way, it's pretty much protected because of the gun diff. But still, two players losing their guns out of that. I think it's not like the best sort of value, but it is value either way. In order to just win, the best way to win, of course, you know, is to cripple economy. Like it or not, look at that. Aphrodite with only a bulldog. Not everyone is equipped with rifles as opposed to Bren Victress.
Definitely. And when it comes down to Zinni's buy though, I think she doesn't really have anything else. Actually there's going to be a drop for her for this round. So quite equal, but Yoki is gonna be using the Guardian instead. And Kohaibi and the amount of space that Envious and her have taken. This is big. This is big for SMG. But how long can they hold this position though? When it comes to
Yep, that's
mid,
right.
Fixie has already expended the slow orb. Brenvy's just baiting out the utilities.
Yeah, because without utilities, we see a better usage of it for SMG. For now, they are gonna be walling out, but they are not sure which site exactly they're gonna hit because they're hearing so many sounds on mid, on B, and they have no clue if anyone's lurking on A site. That's the problem. And I think SMG faced a similar situation as well on Haven against Orang Utan yesterday, and that's the I think this kind of situations where they can't really control or get that information keeps it a little bit more antsy than usual. Either way though, this is a very quiet round, very different than before. Ooh, they're just playing into the thick of it. Finally getting onto side. Fixie does find Mikasi though. That's a nice
30 seconds left.
little gap there. Just gives her so much value, but as it goes down, there's 1, 2, 3.
Surprise! Twirly gets one crosses, but the anchors of the side, they're not moving a
enemy
muscle.
remaining.
There's gonna be a showstopper there by Kohaibi, but Zinni in this clutch situation gets one, spots out the next, but Aphrodite, that's gonna be my title. Zinni, you're not up for the clutch.
Oh, that's right. For now, it does look great for them. We talked about speed, and I feel like Bren Victress really gets so much value when they play really fast because they know how to set up for that post plants. In a situation where they take too much time and the rotations are going to be happening, I think the idea they had was let's bait up as many utilities as possible, and without those utilities, it's going to be hard for them to play post plant. What they weren't expecting was a small little crack there, giving that value of a kill. What they expect there was going to be someone coming in from CT as well. And this is the situation that SMG faced earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that Bren Victress, they're stronger together, and they're stronger when they're fast. And it looks like this is the call for them to take a control with the with the four members of Victress all just being clingy with each other at the moment, just so they secure the trades and they secure the kills that they need. Well, they are on a buy, but if they manage to string in some kills, this is gonna be big for them. And they are. Mikasi able to get Aphrodite, but Yoki strikes back because she's here in a victory with a crispy headshot. Those spots out Mikasi. She's pulled back by that blast pack. And Mikasi just really wants to move forward. Together with Alexi, they have to be careful. I think fast isn't the best solution for this case, though.
Yeah, they got so much there in terms of value right now. 3 versus 2. It's Alexi and Mikasi. We've seen the aggression coming in for Alexi. She is able to get those clutches, but it all comes down to whether she's getting the picks. And Yoki, she didn't even realize that they're coming in from screens. For now, Plant does come down. That's plant money for them at least for next round. And some utils are used just to buy some time. 2 on 2. There is a breach. There is a more aggressive sort of comp here from the side of Bren and Victress as opposed to SMG. But don't forget, Envious, how she plays the Omen is technically a very scary assassin-like way. Ohaibi from the side didn't even hear. She does hear the barrel, but is saved by Mikasi. That's a 4K for her. Can it be a 5K though? Alexi immediately gonna be clearing that corner there out for Envious right now, or at least for her teammate. But here is the tap. Oh, it's not tapped for her. It's not planted for her. 47 seconds comes for the back. Saves the day, Alexi once again with the clutch.
And that was a thrifty round, and she was just holding her knife out. It's as if it's calculated, guys. Don't panic. I have time. After the aftershock, I have X amount. I have 3.3 seconds before I actually have this have time to go down and get the kill. And look at this. She even had her knife out and killed Envious from behind.
Yeah, that's right. I think this also comes down to that timing where some players, they're just so... I don't know if you saw on TikTok how some people, they want that 0.01 seconds left and they would actually count down the timing of the diffusion to a T. I'm wondering if that's the same situation here with the players from Bren Victress.
Yeah, they could have been like singing it all together. I mean, or they could count with their minds at least. I think if they do that, at least so they know when to repeat, or they know when it's halved already. But at that point, Alexi was just too confident. That could have been just the count. I mean, just really counting off their minds. And at this point, the confidence is seen. Oh, look at this. They already have site control. All of the utilities and Killjoy are laid out, but it's too early to get 1K for Daiki with a trade. She even manages to pick up 1 rifle in the process.
Yeah, that's right. We are seeing some heaven control as well from them. So they're coming in from multiple angles. Alexi does find Kohaibi in return. Alexi still very much alive. That is the crouch we were looking for. Alexi doing it again. That's a triple. Alexi! You are definitely someone that should be wearing a cape for your team.
Definitely the hero. Or the heroine for the team. They're proving that they're the victress of the map of Split by how clean these executions are. Alexi's waiting inside the smoke, and one by one they fall to the hands. And the aggression of Alexi. And looking at the hero of this round, we're seeing Alexi as the breach. Let's try and appreciate her for the moment. Yes, this is Breach. His face, very powerful.
Hit.
Yeah.
I would like to give Alexi a new title here. There's Clutch for Deity. I want to give Alexi Smooth Smoke Criminal.
Yeah, definitely. She always does that.
I think it's she plays a lot better than Envious as well. Envious, she gets one and then she immediately moves away. But Alexi, how she played that just now goes. She was already crouching, and I'm wondering why was that information that she was crouching sent out to her teammates? Because I think they would be better if they were ready for that. And in that situation, I think it would be better if SMG checked the smoke together, but they were isolated. She knows how to play the smoke criminal game.
Yeah, definitely. And as a jet main before, I really think that she uses a lot of her cloud bursts to her advantage. That's why she crouches. She just makes these micro repositions really go in favor of her. And she knows where to pre-aim as well, even though she's crouching, even though she's repositioning. The tracking of her crosshair is very, very good.
Yeah, that's right. Fixky still waiting on the side here, slowing and buying time. There's the wall coming up. They know how Fixky plays this, so they're gonna be extra cautious. Fixky giving some space here just in case someone decides to just satchel on top. Not happening, but there's the wall gap again. And I think this is a situation where fool me once, shame on me, fool me once, twice, shame on you kind of situation. Either way, they're gonna be making that space first before they actually commit onto Mail. But here comes the Rolling Thunder. There's so much space given, and Fixky is actually knocked off ramps right now. Either way, right now, Kohaibi waiting in the corner there. Look at that fault line, giving so much situation. Fixky does get one Yoki as well. Mikasi gonna get trade as well before, not before Yoki says no, no, no. Gets Mikasi and Lexi out of the way.
You have Truly in a 1v3. She spotted out through that wall. Unfortunate for her, she didn't really see any of her opponents before she fell down. But SMG, they're looking pretty good to respond well to the ultimate of Alexi. Fixky may have been brought down, but she hid well inside that pocket. And that's the reason why Go Heidi was waiting there, crouched as well. So that's going to be a great play for SMG. And that allowed them time for the rest of the members of Team SMG to rotate. And once they were out for the pounce, I think the conversion of the kills after the Rolling Thunder was just too late for Bren Victress. You mentioned that they're better when they're fast. And we want to see a kachow, a speed run, basically, when it comes to the push. But still, SMG Fixky, with all of her utilities, she knows how to slow the team of Bren V down.
Yep, that's right. And on top of that, while this is match point for Bren V, they don't really have the guns. Alexi is the only one with a rifle, but we've seen some situations where they can get so much value out of this. Either way, Alexi gonna be ready right now. There comes the party, she says. Does get Mikasi out of the way, but she's gonna get flash concussed. And here's Alexi with the crouch again. And I just gotta say, she's taking some damage here. Yoki gonna flash her out in return. Immediately moves away. Tag team with her teammate. Stays alive.
She stays alive in this situation, and Shirazi has managed to pick up a rifle of her own. But Twirly's just waiting, and they're trying to find space somewhere else. What they don't know is Yoki is just there in screens. Aphrodite there in the sight. And even Alexi's caught with her pants down by Envious. So this is going to be tricky, at least for this round. We've seen a kill for Alexi, but for the rest of the members, we haven't seen anything just yet. Twirly, however, has picked up this Phantom. They exchange with Shirazi. He's taken down. Aphrodite just waiting to pounce. Gets two. And match point still there for Bren Victress, not converting it to a win just yet.
I think this is actually really good for that Bren is actually not Bren, sorry, that SMG is playing defense now rather than later, because in a map like Split, while we do see that 12, that match point, but they can take it so many times and just go straight up onto overtime if they want to, because the room for error for playing defense is a lot less than playing attack. Bren is just having problems trying to secure that last point, and I think this is something that we regularly see on attack side if you end up in attack on the second round. Either way, they do just need that one round, and SMG, they don't have any room to make error. I mean, they can make some error, but if they're able to bandage it, great. But they cannot lose even once. They cannot give an inch at all to Bren Victress. So now what's the problem with Bren Victress? I think the problem is SMG already knows how to play against them. They know how they've been playing all these rounds on attack. And attack is a little bit harder because there's not a lot of wiggle room you can go through. There's only three different ways. It's either A main, B main, or mid.
Yeah, and what I loved about what you said was really the bandages that Team SMG has really been pushing through. Each bandage that they wrap around their wounds is really a learning from Bren Victress. And at this point, Bren Victress rushing through is just really a band-aid solution. They really have to find a cure for SMG's aggression. And this is now what we're seeing. Alexi getting the opening. Really just pushing through. B is the solution that they're looking for.
Yep, that's right. On top of that, last round, they didn't have the guns they needed to actually make it happen. I like that they traded out guns to make sure, in terms of survivability, they can go crazy. However, though, this is what we always see a lot of times. Hit D side, make noise, come through mid, try and get some information. Default is always sometimes the best way to approach split, especially on attack, because information gathering is so hard because there's so many different, it's very, very small choke points for this map. Razi gonna break down the wall just to give some more space for them to take. And for now, there is Alexi trying to stop because we all know that Envious likes to lurk. Let's try and catch her with her pants down. Here's Kohibi waiting on the side of Vents here. She wants to see if she can catch anyone there, but there's the bot as well as the fault line. Kohibi does find Mikasi first.
Yeah, it's a quite a late trade there, but at least they know where one is for the team of SMG, and there's gonna be a resurrection. We're back to where we came from, and even when it comes to the Rolling Thunder, everybody else is dazed, and Kohibi strikes back, gets swirly out of the way. Alexi, however, has already crept up towards the side. She wins the duel, however, and here what slows them down is the lockdown. And Kohibi at the moment, she's good with these kills. They destroy it, and now Kohibi's on a 1v3. So much pressure, but 30 HP. She's able to take down one. This is going to be a 6-woman ace. She doesn't know where one is. It's Zinni from the shadows. She comes in and creeps out at the right moment, and they secure map number 2, a 2-0.
Yup, 2-0, but regardless of that, Kohibi still manages a 5k. She really wanted to make something happen. But in this situation, yes, she gets so many picks, but when it comes to the final two, I always notice that buddy system is happening again. And because she's so overwhelmed by numbers and Zinni's rotation to the side, she thought that she'd be side by side, but that wasn't the case. Either way, though, Bren Victress, congratulations, not their map, and is put in a situation where it's so hard for them to come back because SMG is just so dominant on defense side, but they still manage to capitalize on some mistakes.
Definitely. When it comes down to Bren V's mistakes, it's as if SMG, they're writing it down and taking notes. That's why from an 8-4, they've managed to make it a 12-8, right? And even with match point and the victory at the very front and at the very eyes of Bren Victress, SMG, they really kept on fighting. They wanted to really piece together all of the mistakes to make sure that they make a whole strategy and a whole book out of it. But it wasn't just really enough to continue. Bren Victress just basically said, "No, guys, it's the end. We win 2-0."
Yeah, that's right. Really gotta give it. Envious really tried as well to get them off guard backside, but the problem now is there's not a lot of ways you can play on split. I think that's a very limiting map here. You can play take mid, you can play take control of heaven on both sides, but there's still the outer sides that you can come through as well. In terms of lurks, I think because Envious is pretty much the only one lurking, so they had Alexi pretty much ready on that. Once Envious is out of the way, they don't have to worry too much. But let's have a look at the scoreboard to see what exactly made these teams tick.
Definitely, we're looking at the scoreboard now, and it's a race head-to-head. Mikasi did shine here.
You projected
for
this.
The team of Bren V. A Kohibi Mikasi battle, but at the end of the day, while Kohibi did get 21 kills for that round, and I think the 5, it could have been even more if she got the win right in the last round, but it was just really the team play of Bren Victress that brought them that win.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that SMG has struggled a little bit in terms of team play. We talked about how SMG is better when they're playing together, and sometimes you do see that. It does come through. But sometimes in a lot of situations, they're pretty much isolated. You see Envious trying to catch flankers on the other side. You see sometimes they get isolated by the other team. They're not able to get that back-to-back sort of play style as we see from Team Bren Victress. Either way, I think Bren Victress has a more solid game plan in mind. They have better communication, and on top of that, they also had that. You remember that situation where we said Orangutan was counting to 3 and then they come out and peek together? I think it's the same situation here with Bren Victress. Either way, let's have a look at the MVP right now. It's going to be Mikasi. She made so much space for the team. While she didn't really, have a lot of kills between the top fragger and second fragger. Headshots for her is 20%, but she does get 179